Yeah, your eyes like this. Like this.
All right, are you ready for the quiz tomorrow?
No.
Are you ready for the quiz?
I studied funny. I'm about to ace now. Very funny. Very ready. No, this is due on this.
Time out. I'm going to go over directions for your quiz that you're turning in tomorrow. This is a take-home quiz. So I wasn't here for the launch of this and watching you put this together. So today is a work day. And I made the due date tomorrow so that you could have an office hour. There is an official office hour tomorrow after school, but it's at 2 o'clock. I know that most of you will be leaving campus at 2 instead of sticking around, but if you do need help, realize that that's available to you. So I'm going to talk about the project. Keep in mind, it is a quiz. It's a 35% grade category. So this project here, don't you think that you should be able to get 25 out of 25? I'm going to go over the rubric to make sure that you're building it with the right ingredients and not just going off to start your Hollywood movie producing career. Okay? You have to use the stop motion app. You have to have text in there, and you have to have a voiceover of some degree. So I'm going to go over that with you so that you can earn 25 points. And you have to turn in a link to your file instead of emailing it to me or trying to upload the video. So I'm going to go over that. But I'm going to start with a couple of examples. So this is from last year, and this first one that I'm going to play for you doesn't have voiceover. So this does a good job of putting text in there and having the ingredients. The video needs to be, I've seen some that are 30 seconds that end up being 25 out of 25 because they have the right ingredients. I've seen some that go 3 minutes and they only got half credit. So you have to build it with the way it's supposed to. So time isn't important.
How long is this one?
I think this one is about 45 seconds. So here's the first one. Notice they have text explaining what things are. They have kind of an interesting little start here. They're labeling the two sides, which become templates. They're labeling a leading and lagging strand, so in your voiceover, you should talk about that. Here comes DNA polymerase. And they did the leading and the lagging strand. So their rubric was a little different than yours, except there are a lot of similarities. You only have to show 6 bases at the top, 6 nucleotides at the top, 6 at the bottom. So some of you are doing 12 at the top, 12 at the bottom. So you're making it twice as big as it needs to be. You don't have to show a crossover. Any of you guys kind of showing a twist? So once DNA is ready to copy itself, it really does lay more two-dimensional instead of having a twist to it, so you don't have to have the twist. And you have to show what letters stand for. Like you should have a key that says what does A and C and G, what are these things right here? You should even say what the rope is. So I'm going to show you once, and see how they have a key right there? That's really good. Here comes DNA polymerase. Let me see if I can pause that. There we go. When DNA polymerase comes in, it doesn't just copy the base. It also copies the rope. So when you look at a model of DNA like this, the rope is the backbone, right? But there are 3 pieces to a nucleotide, and DNA polymerase brings in the entire nucleotide already put together. So you can't show the rope popping up first or the rope coming in second. You have to show it in one way or another. There's a couple options. So what is the backbone? Remember the DNA interactive video? You had a sugar, a nitrogenous base, and what else? Phosphate. So white is sugar, and the black is a phosphate, and the rung of the ladder is the base. So a building block of DNA is these three pieces right here, and wasn't it drilled home with those three assignments that you had? So it's best if you show DNA polymerase dragging in a rope, which represents the backbone, and maybe the colored paper clips or whatever you're using. And then realize that they're talking about the leading strand up here and the lagging strand down there. Technically speaking, DNA polymerase, that worker building this, he only works from 5 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. Remember that? He works by building from 5 to 3. So if the parent strand was 3' right there, and that just means the location of the sugar and whether or not it's upside down, like that or like that. So the new strand is being built from 5 to 3, which is anti-parallel from the parent strand. So the leading strand, when I watch this, what I'm looking for, your helicase goes one way and your leading strand goes right behind the helicase opening up DNA. All right? So when I move this forward, the lagging strand is made in the opposite direction. You see that? Helicase went that way, so the lagging strand builds it this way, and so I'm looking for you to show that. Now, the leading strand and the lagging strand are built at the same time, so I would really like to see you build them at the same time on the same screen. It's not like the leading strand and then the lagging strand. They're both being built at the same time, but what makes this the lagging strand is it's built in pieces because it's going in the opposite direction. So if this is continuing to open up, that's called the replication fork. If it started right here, it's finished, but then it realized, hey, you've opened up behind me and I'm going in the wrong direction, so DNA polymerase has to go over here and then build it, and then encounters a strip that it already made. So that's why it lags behind, because it's got more work to do. So that was one video, and here is another one. This one has some voiceover.
This is the process of DNA replication. This all happens in the nucleus. A goes with T and G goes with C, vice versa. This is the first step of replication. The helicase enters the nucleus and unzips the strand. Then the primer tells the polymerase where to start. This is the third step. The polymerase is duplicating the original strand, and since it can only go 5 to 3, it goes backwards. This is the last final step. The ligase makes sure it's all combined and glued together. And this is the end of DNA replication.
So things they did well were kind of creative with a car, helicase coming in. What makes this not 100% though, as flashy as it kind of looked?
Primer tells.
I'm not sure what these paper clips are. I think it is the new replicated strand, right? And so when DNA polymerase comes in there, it's just making the base. So realize that this paper clip, if it is also kind of like, this is the old strand, this is the new strand, they should have brought in a paper clip with a new letter T right here, and then another paper clip with the letter A. The nucleotides come in all at one time. And then they did a ligase right here, right there. The gluer, that's not required. That's extra. You're not going to get marked off for adding things in. But if you aren't showing it correctly, like they don't show ligase doing the right thing. Ligase is going to be down here between here and here, gluing the fragments together, called the Okazaki fragments. So if you're going to add extra stuff that isn't on the rubric, then make sure it's right, or it could detract, because then it looks like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. So now I'm going to go over here to the assignment and just run through the rubric. Make sure you build it the way it is supposed to. So it says right here, you have to use the stop motion app. You're adding pictures. I would say that you probably need 30 or 40 pictures, and stop motion is going to put them all together. This is how movies are built. They're built picture by picture, and it's 12 pictures per second. That's called frames per second. If you want your video to play more slowly because you have less pictures, then you're going to click on the little gear icon in stop motion and change it. I think the default is at 9 pictures per second. Just slide it down to 1 or 2. You can even click and edit each picture if you wanted one picture to go for 5 or 10 seconds. So you have the ability to change the timing on that. And you are turning in a link at Google Drive. You're going to upload your file to Google Drive, and you are only turning in a link. So it only accepts a link. So you know what? I'm going to get some people that say, hey, it's not letting me upload my video. I know that. You can only turn in a link, all right? And these are your directions. I recorded a video right here. If you didn't have a chance to look at that, that explained the project, so if you want to watch that. This video right here is the Amoeba Sister video. That is great for you to see how the professional one was done, and you can pattern yours after that. And then this picture down here is awesome. I'm going to leave this up on the screen for the entire class so that you can animate this picture. So here you have helicase opening up the strand, and the leading strand is going to have DNA polymerase come in right behind it, build 6 nucleotides in a row. You can also show the lagging strand doing the same thing in the opposite direction, and realize that this fork is going to continue to open up. And so this DNA polymerase is going to have to come back over here and then do that part. And then it's got a gap between it that ligase is going to fix it. So those are your good resources. Now I'm going to talk to you about how to turn this in. I recorded a video. I'm going to demonstrate how to do it, but if you want to watch that again, it's right over there. So some of you have not even used Google Drive yet. You just send it over to Notability and then turn it in from Notability. But there's another way of turning in work, and that is first sending it to an online storage, iCloud, Dropbox. But everybody has a Google Drive, so I want you to use Google Drive. You can get to Google Drive on a website, type drive.google.com, or you can use an app. So right up there it says, open this in an app. If you have the app installed, I think you already do, you can open it up that way. It's very similar in how you turn it in. So I'm just going to grab a file like this one. Select on the file after you upload it, then it's in your list of files. And then you're going to click on that icon that you see right there. That's the link icon. And just a sec, okay? So when you click on that little link button, it says get the link, and if you just copy that and then turn it in, you could be in danger of losing points. Because if I can't open up your file, I'm going to give you a 1-day grace period. I will grade it, your project, as a 1 out of 25. That should make you go, what? And in the comment field, I'm going to say, hey, you turned in a link to your file, but you will not let anyone open up your file. So you have to make sure that it says anyone in Modern Day group. That's fine, because you're using Modern Day and I'm using Modern Day. But the better thing for you to do is to say anyone with this link can see it. So let me show you another file that wasn't turned in like that. So if I'm turning in this file, for example, and I click on that link, this is the default. The default is restricted. Nobody can see your file unless you click on that and then say, you know what, anybody with the link can see my file. So make sure that you have file sharing turned on. This is where you're going to get one grace period. So when I go to grade this, and if I have the link, but you are not letting me open the link, I'm going to remind you, and you have 1 day to respond. After that, 10% penalty per day, because I've had people not respond to me for weeks if they're not watching their grade comments and not following up with how they did. So then you click copy link, and away it goes into memory, and I'll show you where to turn it in. If you are over at the app, now I just clicked over to the app for Google instead, and I upload my file, and then I pick my file. I click on the 3 dots, and if all you did was hit copy link, it might not open. So you have to manage people and the links up here at the top. So manage people and the links, and look, if you gave me a link to this, I wouldn't be able to open it. So you have to click on restricted, and you have to say, hey, anyone with this link can open it. Just a second. And then you click on that, and it saves the link into memory, right? So then you click on that, link copied to the clipboard. So now I'm going to go over here to the assignment. In the assignment, hold the phone, okay? I'm almost done. So then you're ready to turn this in, and you just see this is all you can turn in is a website URL. This is the link to your file. I had copied it earlier, and then I submit. So after you turn it in, you should check to see that it opens up, because this is your test. Don't you want to make sure that it's great? So it is okay for you to run your file by me today if you have it all finished and you're ready to go. You checked out the criteria and you know that you built it just right. Otherwise, you have until tomorrow. So a question came up. Can you use iMovie? Not to film the entire thing. You have to at least start with this stop motion app to put together all of your pictures.
You can do it in iMovie.
And once you generate the movie, then you could open it up in iMovie, and then you could add your text because you don't want to pay 99 cents inside the app. But you can also write down your text on this paper. You can use cards. Now around the room, things are starting to get a little unorganized, right? So you'll find more supplies on one table than another. So look around the room if you're looking for some supplies. Also on the back table, there's a lot of plastic pieces, rubber stoppers, construction papers, scissors, and all that. So you can use the materials and realize that you can get help tomorrow as well. Even though you don't have class, you can see me at lunchtime or even after school. But don't expect me to respond like after 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So try to get this done sooner than later, and you can run it by me and have your quiz pre-graded before you turn it in. All right, go to a lab table and make some awesome videos.